For today we're reviewing for the final. There's 3 things we need to cover. The first 10 questions have addition and subtraction of positives and negatives. So what I'm going to do here, let me find my positives only for right now. Let me find my positives. I underline them, and I'm going to add them. So I'm going to have 7.8 plus 0.1 plus 1.3. So I'm going to add all my positives. Remember, I'm just looking at my positive answer. And then remember, for adding, line up the decimal point. So 8 plus 1 plus 3, I know that's 12, so carry the 1. 1 plus 7 plus 1, that's 9. So my positives is 9.2. Positives only. Then, let me take a look at my negatives only. I only have 1.1. If I had more negatives, like there were more numbers that were negative, add them. Right? When you combine, you add. Even though they're negatives, still add. Just the negatives by themselves. And then to finish this, I said I only have 1, so I'm not going to combine it. So now to finish this, I'm going to go 9.2 minus 1.1. Subtract your value. So you said 8.1? Because a big number is positive, my answer is positive. Looking at question number 2, positives only, I have 2 of them. 7.4 and 3.949. Remember, line up the decimal point. If you want them to be the same length, you can always add zeros. On the far right, 0 plus 9 is 9, 0 plus 4 is 4, 4 plus 9 is 13, so carry the 1. 1 plus 7 plus 3 is 11. So positives only gave me 11.349. Now negatives, notice I have 2 negatives, 2.5 and 1.2. Still add those 2 numbers. You're going to have 3.7 for the negatives. Remember, add the positives only, then add the negatives only, and to finish this, subtract the 2 values. 11.349 minus 3.7. If you need them to be the same length, you can always add 0. 9 minus 0, 4 minus 0, 13 minus 7 is 6, and 10 minus 3 is 7. Big number is positive, so 7.649. So once again, add the positives only, add the negatives only, and at the end, subtract the 2 values. Any questions for the first 10? So now looking at question number 11, we have multiplication. You guys know 2 ways of multiplying. The one with the squares, Lattice method, or the other way. So in this case, let me use a little square, the Lattice method. It's 3 numbers by 3 numbers, so my box is going to be a 3 by 3. And I know each of these little squares gets cut in half. And I'm going to go 492 multiplied by 474. All right, I'm ignoring the decimal points for right now. I know in the first square, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 7 is 28. And 4 times 4 is 16. The second square, 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 7 is 63. And 9 times 4 is 36 again. 2 times 4, 2 times 7, and 2 times 4. Alright, so now to finish this, I'm just going to add my rows. This is an 8. 4 plus 6, that was a 0. 4 plus 6 is 10, so carry the 1. 1 plus 8 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 6 is 22. So write down the 2, carry the 20. That's a 0. 2 plus 6 plus 6 plus 8 plus 1, that's 23. So write down the 3, carry down the 20. 2 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2 is 13. Carry the 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. Numbers wise, I have 2, 3, 3, 2, 0, 8. Now let me worry about the decimal. My first number had 1 decimal place. The second number had 1 decimal place. Remember, decimal place, I say how many numbers after the decimal point. So combined is 2. So my answer should have 2 decimal places. And once again, decimal place means how many numbers after the decimal place. So for big numbers, when it's a 3 by 3, I do encourage Lattice method, the little square. When the numbers are not that many, like number 12, you can do the traditional way. And what I call traditional way, I'll show you guys in a minute. This thing is processing, and you wait for it. Technology can make our life fast, but at the same time can make it slow. Alright, there we go. Alright, for the traditional way, once again, what I call traditional, I'm going to go 29 times 18. And the way you guys know it. 8 times 9 is 72. Carry the 7. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 7 is 23. For the next one, 1 times 9 is 9. Do keep in mind that I start 1 to the left, and 1 times 2 is 2. Add my numbers. There's a 2, there's a 12, there's a 5. So 522. I only have 1 decimal place. Because only one number has a decimal place. So my answer should have 1 decimal place. 52.2. When it's the numbers are big, like too many digits, once again I encourage Lattice method. When there's not too many, you can do Lattice method, but the traditional way, sometimes it's easier. But it's your call. You do whichever one you want. Any questions up until 20?
How'd you get 232?
232, because I went 8 times 9, 72. So I wrote the 7 and carry this. I wrote down the 2, carry the 7. Then 8 times 2 is 16 plus the 7. What do you think?
I did it different. I don't know, but I still got the right answer. I don't know, I did it wrong.
Oh, because what you did, I did 29 times 18. I did it, the 29 on top. You did the 18 times 29. So that's how your number is different. But it adds up to the same answer. Alright, any other questions up until 20? Alright, let's take a look at 21. Division. The second number should not have decimal point. So I'm going to move it 3 places to the right. In the same number, I'm going to do it the same amount of spaces I'm going to do it on the other number. I'm going to add a 0 in this case to be able to move it 3 places to the right. So this looks like 870 divided by 2,494. I know the number is ugly, but you guys know my practices are way harder than the test. And as I figured if we do something hard, we should be able to do something easy. Alright, so I'm going to do 2,494 into 870. At the end of the 870 should be a decimal point, which I'm going to bring up already. And then I think of 2,494 into 870. It's impossible because 200,004, it's bigger. So it's 0 times. So you continue, always add a 0 at the end. So now I'm thinking of 2,494 into 8,700. Let me try this 3 times. And I'm going to multiply this by 3. And I'm going to do number by number. 3 times 4 is 12, so carry 1. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 1 is 28. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2, 14. And 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Subtract this. And I get 1,218. I subtract it. Now, to continue, add a 0. So I'm looking into 2,494 into 12,180. Let me try 5. So we tried. If it works, great. If it doesn't, try again. But 5 times 4 is 20. Carry the 2. 5 times 9 is 45 plus 2 is 47. Carry the 4. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 4 is 24. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2 is 12. It seems like we went a little too high. Right? Because 12,470 is bigger than 12,180. So we went a little too high. Remember I said try something. If it works, great. If not, try again. So we know 5 is too big. So then in that case, let me go 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. 4 times 9 is 36 plus 1, 37. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 3, 19. 4 times 4 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Subtract this. $2,204. To continue, add a 0. So then I'm thinking 2,494 into 22,040. Try what, like an 8? I said try it. If it works, great. If not, try again. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 9 is 72 plus 3, 75. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 7 is 39. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 3 is 19. Subtract this. That's an 8. That's 8, 0, and 2. I can add a 0 to continue. Right? My remainder right now, if you notice, is 2088. 2088. Like I said, I could add a 0 to continue, but I'm going to stop because I already have 3 decimal places. And the reason I get 3, because I look at the third number. If it's 5 or more, which is our case, add an extra number. So I'm going to look at this. My answer should be 0.35. And I made it to do hundreds instead of tens. Some people do tens because when we deal with money, we should do hundreds. So if you think about it, I have 34 cents because the number after it is big, add an extra penny. So now you got 35 cents. What I mean with that is like imagine, hypothetically, I had 1.99 and the next number is big. 1.99 sounds like $1.99. So it would be $2. So 2.00. Like I said, I did 2 numbers and think of it as money. 34 cents, add an extra penny because the number is big, 35 cents. And rounding, actually, we do it all the time. If you guys get your receipts, they do round up. When I do taxes, they round up. All right, I'll show you guys how to do taxes in next quarter, but like I said, I'll show you, they do round up. We round up all the time. And now here, for 22, I'm going to say, actually, let me not do 22. Let me do 24. Move the decimal 1 place to the right. So this looks like 53 divided by 8. Right? The second number should not have a decimal. So I'm going to have 8 into 53. After the 53, I bring a decimal point. And I'm thinking 8 goes into 53 6 times, because 8 times 6 is 48. My remainder is 5. Right? You guys might think I'm crazy why I chose this number, because it's an easy one. But the reason why I chose it because before the decimal is not a 0. That's why I chose it. Alright, so I have a 5, right? So you continue add a 0. 8 goes into 50 6 times, because 6 times 8 is 48. When you subtract it, your remainder is 2. In order for you to continue, add a 0. 8 goes into 20 2 times. 8 times 2 is 16. Subtract that, my remainder is 4. So you continue, add a 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. My remainder stops. But I was going to stop anyways, because my third decimal place is, I already have my third decimal place. My third decimal place is big in this case, so what's my answer? 6.63. To look at this as money, you have $6.62. You have to add an extra penny, so 6.63. Alright, so you guys pretty much are looking at your test. Obviously not that many questions. I think I have 15 questions, 5 of each group. And your test is tomorrow. Any questions?